Hi everybody, this is Gene Joly from Musician's Friend. I'm here again today with Marcus Ryle, co-founder of Line 6. We're going to talk a little bit. In the last session, Marcus explained the founding of Line 6 in 1996. And today we're going to talk in more detail about the first seminal products, the modeling amplifier, the Axis 212, and then Amp Farm and the Pod. The first question I have for you, Marcus, is that, I've been a guitar player since 1964, and I've used many amps and so forth. And for years and years and years, anything that wasn't a tube amplifier was crap. That's just basically the general rule of thumb, and pretty much nothing really sounded warm the same way the tube thing did there, you know? So, a little bit of audacity to say, I think I'm going to be the first guy to solve this, to make a great sounding amplifier that isn't tubes, and B, how am I going to do this? And you had said the last time about the enabling technology of DSP, and then imagining how you could create models that would sound just like the great tube amplifiers. So, I think some of our audience would like to know a little bit of the technical stuff behind it, and the vision, and just any other details you can share, which was really a breakthrough product.
Oh, thanks. It's funny, I think back, I think we were probably a lot more naive than audacious. It just seemed like a really good idea. And, you look back at it, but in 1996, just to say digital and guitar in the same sentence was blasphemous, right? I mean, it was just like, it's crazy. I mean, everything about digital was the antithesis of what a guitar player was really looking for. And I guess it's fortunate we really didn't realize how daunting that might be, because maybe we wouldn't have even tried. Mm-hmm. But we really just thought it just seemed logical. This should be possible. We should be able to crack this. And if we make something that really sounds great, then, people would be interested. The Axis 212, by today's modeling standard, obviously it's pretty far away. Technology does evolve, but for the time, it was a breakthrough. And the Axis 212, I think, it certainly was. I think it was the first product to do something digital that really could be usable and sounded quite good for its time. We realized that it's, just like for guitar players, the journey for tone never ends for the designers as well. Mm-hmm. So our modeling has continued to evolve every year. And even in just the couple years between the Axis 212 and the Pod, and with Amp Farm just before that, our first plug-in, we really learned a lot about how to continue to refine the tone and really solve an important new problem that occurred to us, which is the issue that guitarists were facing in recording guitar. That was really the inspiration for Pod. It's great to have a guitar amp, but with a modeling amp, you still are faced with the problems of having to mic up a cabinet, if you want to capture what it's moving air and so on. And that's something that not only requires its own special skill, right? A great recording engineer knows what mic to pick,
which mics,
where to
and
place
where to
it,
put them,
your room and so on. But if you're recording at home, or if you're in an apartment, right, you're going to have some people not too happy with you as you're
people
cranking.
not too happy with
probably.
you.
Yeah, several rooms over. So we realized, so we've done modeling of amps and cabs and the effects. Can we capture the microphone, the room, and basically complete the signal path? How do we capture, everything you'd need to be able to record guitar, but now be able to do it just with headphones if you want, or hooked up to any recorder or computer and not have to make a whole lot of noise. And that ended up being a really successful product for us, because I think it really resonated with a lot of people to be able to have that problem solved. But it also provided another thing that we've tried to carry through with our products, which is having the technology be a source of musical inspiration. Because even if you owned all the gear, or even if you're in the camp that disputes whether modeling sounds good or not, being able to have a huge palette of tone instantly available to you allows you to stay in the musically creative space and not be in the technician space, let's move some other gear, let's move the mic, let's do all this other stuff. That's all great, but if you're really just trying to create, so many guitarists discovered, I just turn to this different amp model or change this effect, and you start playing. And guitar players started discovering what keyboard players had discovered, which is sometimes you just go through presets or make little changes to sounds, and you've got a song.
Puts you into a different mode.
Right.
The way you're playing and the way you're writing
Right.
can actually change based on the sound.
Right.
That's a great story. And when Pod first came out, unlike other floor boxes there, it was kidney bean shaped, the best way to describe it there.
So big red kidney bean.
Yeah,
Strange.
There has to be a story behind
Oh,
that.
absolutely, and I don't get any credit for it at all. I mean, I think I approached that product initially like a geek musician would be, maybe a keyboard player in the pejorative way. It's like, well, we should put this in a rack, and here's the controls, and this will be great. Everyone will record with it, and it just goes in a rack. And fortunately, there were some clever people in the company who were saying, this is too important a tool. It's just going to get lost in the rack because there's just a bunch of rack gear. It's not just this utility product. What we're doing here is something that's actually very organic, actually capturing how air is moving and how tubes are interacting. And this is almost this living thing. And it's an injustice to just go and throw it in a rack. And some guys started brainstorming about organic shapes and curves and so on, and drawing things up, and the bean was born. And needless to say, it was somewhat controversial in the office. There were pro-bean and anti-bean forces. As something goes through development, those things happen. But there's a great book by Seth Godin called Purple Cow that I don't think was written yet back then, but the Pod's a great example of. And it's just a reminder that if you do something that's great, you still have to make sure it's something that's going to get noticed. Mm-hmm. If you were driving down the road and you saw a purple cow off to the side,
gonna notice it.
You're gonna stop and go, why is there a purple cow here? And you're gonna tell
and you're
your
going to worry
friends.
about nuclear waste.
Yeah, but that's probably true. You might get a little nervous. But Pod did that for us because you couldn't help but stop and go, what is that crazy thing?
Yeah. For whatever reason, it was also a friendly-looking device. It wasn't just different and weird. It wasn't just noticeable. It was, at least to my eye, it had visual appeal. So it worked out. Obviously, a lot of thought went into it. Well, thanks very much, Marcus. This is session 3 here. We're going to be back next time, and Marcus is going to talk about some of the more advanced products that have been developed in the last few years, including Variax. Thanks, everybody, for being with us today.